Joining me now, Congressman, Republican, 5th District, Robert Hurt. He's retiring the end of this term, so that'll be in December, and that'll be going on to resuming his private practice and other stuff. Congressman Hurt, good to have you.
Good morning, John. Glad to be with you.
So we're going to miss these segments at 7:05 every couple weeks when you're not there anymore. I mean, who am I going to get up early to replace you?
Well, I've certainly enjoyed it and always enjoyed talking with you about the important issues of the day. I think we had a convention back in May,
right,
a couple of weeks ago, and Tom Garrett emerged victorious. And I'm looking forward to working for him as we move toward November. There was a strong field. There were 4 candidates at the end, and at the convention, Tom Garrett was won on the 3rd ballot, and the other candidates and their supporters have rallied behind Tom, and I'm glad to see that. And it looks like to me he's going to have a good head of steam. But the 5th District is not people, I think, mistakenly believe that it is a very conservative district, but it's really not. It's a 52-48 Romney-Obama district. So it's a much closer district, and so we're going to have to really work hard for Tom to get him elected in November.
Well, Tom has got his hands full. We also know Tom does not do early, so it's doubtful we're going to be seeing him at 7:05 in the morning. He doesn't do early, but we'll figure something out. But look, he's in a tough race, and the Democrats, no question, they're going to pour a lot of money in there. Tom, not a prolific fundraiser by any means. So I see this as being a tough race.
Well, I think it'll, he has a Democratic opponent from Charlottesville. Charlottesville has the weight of the district has sort of moved from South Side more to Central Virginia. Back in when L.F. Payne ran many terms ago for Congress, Albemarle County wasn't even in the district. Nelson was the northernmost county, but now it extends from Albemarle, Charlottesville, all the way up to Fauquier County. So the district's changed a little bit, mostly rural in nature. You gotta really work it to get out into the country, especially because of the way the media serves the rural parts of the district. Makes it expensive to get on the radio and the television out in those places because they're so spread out. But I think he can do it. But it's going to take some hard work and a good organization. And the good thing is that I was very proud of Lynn Tucker, our 5th District Chair, and I was very proud of the organization that we've built over the years. And that's a huge part of winning in 23 counties and cities, in a rural district.
Well, Congressman, it's going to be, no question, it's going to be that organization that's going to make a difference. This is not going to be an easy race for Tom, and as we all know, and I love Tom to death, but he just doesn't do fundraising well, so he's likely to be either matched or outspent by the Democrats on the other side. She has his Democratic opponent right now has a big cash on hand advantage. She's continuing to raise money, and as you said, that's an expensive media area, so Tom's got to get on the stick for that. But we see that as probably one of the most competitive races going into the fall. I mean, you look at the other districts, and I don't really see anything else that can even potentially change hands, but that one in the 5th.
Anytime you have an open seat like this in a district that's constructed as ours is, I think you're going to attract more attention. And remember, Tom Perriello won the district in 2008. Now it was a wave election, and it remains to be seen whether in this cycle we'll have a wave one way or the other. But again, it just goes to and listen and I know he understands. He certainly understands this. Whatever. Fundraising is absolutely critical because that's the only way you get up on TV and get up on radio, and that's going to be critical. And he knows that, and I know I'm looking forward to helping him with an event, some events that are upcoming, and we look forward to helping him get that into high gear.
Well, he's got to make it happen. I want to get to this Iran video that's been edited. Is this a tempest in a teapot, or is there anything at all to it, sir?
Hard to say at this point. I know that I don't. I need to know more about it, but certainly if it has the potential of being something that be a be a big deal. But I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what it is.
So when you look at the upcoming presidential race, now it appears that the Associated Press yesterday called Hillary Clinton the presumptive nominee, which I know that Trump said their Republican process, he said it was a corrupt enterprise and rigged, although he was able to win. But I got to tell you, Congressman, you look at the Democratic side of this, where you need 2,383 delegates to win. 718, which is a third, are superdelegates that are unbound by anybody. Clinton has 570 of those. 500 of them committed to her before a single primary vote in Iowa was cast. So, I mean, isn't that the epitome of a rigged system?
Yeah, it is amazing to me how hard the media seems to be wanting to, talk about all the divisions in the Republican side, and certainly we've got divisions, and but talk about how Trump is illegitimate and how how the establishment versus the insurgents and all this stuff. It is so funny how the media has laser focused on that, and then they take great pains not to recognize what they have been faced to recognize here in the last couple of weeks, and that is that there are real problems on the Democrat side. And Hillary's has had a terrible last couple of weeks, and now it seems like the media is now getting back in order, and now they're going to recognize that Hillary is the nominee, which is what they've been reporting for the last, of course, 6 months. and now they're getting back in line and hoping that California is going to make them correct. But it's not clear to me at all that Bernie Sanders is going to go quietly. And I think that a lot of these media folks who again are doing everything that they can to make these little problems for Hillary go away. I think that we'll see what happens tonight. But if there's an upset, it's going to make them look bad.
Well,
it should.
It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I think that Sanders is going to win California along with some other states. He's not going to win New Jersey, but I think he's going to win the Golden State and some others. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they spin that after calling her the presumptive nominee. The other thing I thought that was not helpful to Clinton, because if you're voting for Clinton and you're in San Francisco or something and somebody says, oh, she's already the nominee, and you got something else to do, probably is not your top priority to get out there.
Yeah, right.
So I think that actually hurt her, no question. Let's get to Trump versus Clinton now. I think Trump can win. What about you?
I do too. No, I think that she's a very flawed candidate, and she, I don't think that she's a good retail politician in any way, shape, or form. I don't think she's likable, and I think that people are kind of sick of business as usual. She represents business as usual, and she's untrustworthy, and I think the polls have shown that again and again. And I think all that adds up to an extremely vulnerable candidate. And on top of that, we have no idea what else is going to come out about this private server and things that she may have done when she was in the State Department to knowingly, commit crimes, violations of the law. Now, is Trump a perfect candidate? No, but I think that he has been learning, and I think that why people trust him is not necessarily because they agree with him on every issue, because there's certainly some that I don't agree with him on and don't agree with some of the things he said and done in the past. But with that said, I think that people believe that he's smart enough to be able to surround himself with people who actually know what they're talking about, because he doesn't always know what he's talking about, but will actually know what he's talking about and give him good advice, and that at the end of the day he'll make good judgments based on that. And that's why I think, despite the fact that the same people who are supporting him often say that they don't, that they don't agree with him on all the issues, are willing to go for it, because they look at Washington and they see a city that is corrupted and and they want to see sanity. They want to see common sense.
Well,
that's why I think he can win.
I think you're right, Congressman. And, it's funny to see this spat that he's got, I guess, with the judge in the Trump University case play out. And, all the strategists are going bananas that he needs to drop it, not get off it, and it's going to hurt the party, and it's going to hurt his brand. And, of course, Trump said, no, I'm right. This guy's politically motivated. He said it when he released the documents. He said he only released them because I'm the Republican nominee. He also changed defendants out arbitrarily. So it is politically motivated. But he's just not going to back down. And I know he's got a lot of criticism for that. It's uncomfortable sometimes how this plays out. But I think at the end of the day, people are looking for a president that is simply not going to be apologizing around the globe. So I think, look, the sooner they get off it, the better. I don't think it's going to hurt him any. But there's so many issues he's got right now. And I want to get your comments on this. We had a jobs report out. There is no economic recovery that I can see. What about you?
No, I think this is more of what we've seen for the last 8 years. We had one of the worst financial crises to hit this country in our entire history 8 years ago, and Obama's his response was pour more government money, more government regulation into the mix, and that'll make everything better. And what it does is it just creates a false sense that there are being jobs created when you're just pouring stimulus money into the pot, and then coming down with these draconian regulations that have absolutely suppressed the free market. And when we all know that it's the free market, it's the marketplace, it's private enterprise, it's private investment that is what is necessary in order to have real robust growth. So instead of having lower taxes, we get higher taxes. Mm-hmm. Instead of having fewer regulations, we get pummeled with more healthcare regulations, with more banking regulations. And all these things add up to more cost for the consumer and the taxpayer. They add up to fewer choices, and that's we just move slowly more to a government-run economy, and that's I think the story of the last 8 years, and that's why we desperately need a new president who realizes that the genius of this country and the power of this country is found in the people, not in the government, and that it is the people and our private economy that needs the jump start. And the more we can start taking off some of the layers of unnecessary regulation and taxes, the sooner we'll see a real recovery that means real jobs for Virginia families.
Tim Kaine, very upset because Obama's drug his feet on another 8,800 Syrian refugees coming to the United States. What exactly does that do for Virginia constituents?
Well, I've been very concerned about the position that the administration has taken as it relates to the Syrian refugees. I think that we've seen what happens when you allow, even through our legal migration system, people to come in where we don't have any idea what their background is. We passed legislation back towards the beginning of the year that would have tightly cracked down on this to make sure that we know exactly who's coming into this country, and made the government officials in charge of these programs to certify that these people have been checked and have clean backgrounds. And of course, the president won't budge on it. And the president, because of his power as the executive in chief or commander in chief, has the ability to allow this sort of immigration, and it's. I think we're going to be sorry, and I think that we'll see another San Bernardino, and I think when that happens, we'll be able to look and see exactly where the mistakes were made.
Congressman, the whole thing doesn't make any sense. You're absolutely correct. I've got a minute. In a couple of weeks, the United Kingdom is going to vote in a plebiscite fashion on whether or not to stay in or get out of the European Union. What do you think will happen, and what will it mean? And unfortunately, we only have a minute.
Listen, I look forward to following that with interest. I never have, frankly, understood the, why the European Union was thought to be such a good idea for all these individual countries to join and lose, in many respects, their national identity and their sovereignty. Never have understood why that was attractive in the first place. And it hasn't turned out to be such a great idea as time has told. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because it will obviously have a significant effect on the global economy and America's part in it. And so we look forward to following that again with interest.
Okay, we're out of time. We want to thank Congressman Robert Hurt for being with us. Congressman, 5th District. He's retiring at the end of this term. He's going to be missed. And regardless if Tom Garrett wins, we'll never get Tom Garrett up at 7:05 in the morning. That I can guarantee you. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Say hi to your wife. We'll see you soon, sir.